Hello, this is Mad Cat, the angry egalitarian that discusses this and that. Today, we're doing things that feminists say, number 9. And remember, just because you can say you're oppressed and you have the freedom of speech to say you're oppressed, doesn't mean you're actually oppressed. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the screen share on this. Okay, so 6 common arguments against feminism and every way you can shut them down. So normally I highlight things for articles. I've been trying to do that, but all of this is just such malarkey that it needs to be read. So that's why I'm doing this article by itself. So let's start off. I'm not going to read any of this. It's a bunch of whining. Oh, I'm a privileged white, went to college, live in middle class. I'm not a perfect feminist. Here's some common and maddening arguments against feminists we will confront and how to shut them down. Women already have equal rights. Well, actually, I kind of disagree with that. Women don't have equal rights. They have more rights than men. In every category, they have more rights than men. This is one of the arguments I hear most often. A discussion gets going about the status of women, and someone will chime in to declare that rights between men and women are already equal. The first thing I notice when I'm confronted with this argument is that the feminist opposer almost always operates on the male-female gender binary, and that's already a problem. Discounting trans, gender nonconformity, and gender fluid folks is no way to have a conversation about gender equality. Okay, but this specific discussion is saying that women already have equal rights. If you want to have a discussion about trans and gender fluid people, that's okay to do. But as I said in my previous video, a lot of people within the trans community feel that feminists don't give a shit about them. This right here is called using them as your shield to deflect from the argument that women already have more rights than men in public. You're trying to say, well, trans and gender people, transgender nonconformists and gender fluid people don't, so you can't talk about gender equality. We need to keep this in mind when we're having a discussion about feminism. No, we don't, because feminism only caters to women. It only cares about trans, gender nonconformists, and gender fluid people when it benefits women. It's certainly not true that women and other non-cis male genders have equal protections under the law. No, they have more protections under the law than men do. You know, take a look at the statistics of how often men have to serve longer sentencing than women. How often female rapists get to walk free than male ones. Trans individuals can't even necessarily use bathrooms for their gender. I'm sorry, this whole bathroom issue thing is so fucking ridiculous. You know, we should make it a law. I mean, allowed. Oh my God, it's going to the bathroom. No one feels comfortable going to the bathroom. If everyone felt comfortable going to the bathroom, they would go everywhere they want. They would have their own bathroom that is just for them. I can't believe you're really making an issue about this. I had a friend who went through the Ren Fair who cross-dresses as a woman. Even had a whole persona with that. And I still hung out with the guy. And guess which bathroom he used? He used the male bathroom. Because he had a fucking penis. You know, we should make this a lot simpler. Instead of calling it the men's room and the women's room, we should call it the penis room and the vagina room. And then that way, If you have a peep peep, you can go use the penis room. And if you have a vajayjay, you can go use the vagina room. And then that way, no one can be offended. Unless you have a coloscopy bag. And then you might have something to be offended about because there isn't a bag room. Oh, wait, there is a bag room where you go hang up your bag. Go take a dump in there. I mean, seriously, that would solve the problem to this whole stupid bathroom issue. Oh, I feel I'm a woman even though I'm actually my physical gender is a man. I should be allowed to go into the women's bathroom without feeling shame. Nope. We've now changed it. If you have a fucking penis, go into the penis room. If you have a fucking vagina, go in the vagina room. Sorry to get off topic here. I'm just like so angry about that. Women still do not clearly have stated constitutional rights that protect against gender discrimination at work. That's also fucking bullshit. Women have a lot more rights when it comes to work. Women are taken a lot more seriously for their complaints, and a lot of men have made complaints about it. The amazing atheist TJ has talked about being sexually harassed at work. And when he complained about it, people gave him a hard time. His superiors are like, "What, are you gay or something?" And she actually stuck her hands down the back of his pants. But if a woman even is looked at the wrong way by a man, you better believe he's getting written up for that shit. When someone throws this around, remind them that the Equality Rights Amendment has not been passed. We don't need the Equality Rights Amendment, you fucking cunt. This amendment would make it unconstitutional to discriminate on the basis of sex at work. We already have a law for that. Men already have this right. Women do not. Yes, you do. Further point out that there's a difference between our rights and how we're treated in society. You mean that you're treated like a delicate flower and that if you even stub your toe, you have 20 men trying to protect you against whoever stubbed your toe? I mean, watch those videos where a man will try to push a woman around and how everyone gets up to try to stop him from doing it. But when it's reversed and a woman is doing it to a man, people just point and laugh. Don't fucking come to me and talk about how you get fucking treated in society. You get treated much better in society than I fucking do. Constitutionally, people of all races have the same rights under the United States, but black people still consistently deal with race-based discrimination. Well, if they're dealing with discrimination, they can bring about a lawsuit. Unless, of course, they're not actually being discriminated against, they're just being treated like everyone else and want to use the race card. Oh, well, you're just doing this because I'm black. No, it's not because you're black. Well, yes, it is because I'm black. Okay, well, then you don't have to get in trouble for grabbing women's tits. We'll just go blame that white guy over there. Now, yes, discrimination still happens. I understand it does, but it's in the minority. And if you can show that you've been discriminated against, you can bring about a lawsuit to the company. I mean, my last video, I talked about how the LGBT are using gender discrimination in a lawsuit that had nothing to do with gender discrimination. Trust me, it's easy to make a lawsuit these days, especially if you can use gender discrimination and race discrimination. Lawyers would jump at that chance. Let's suppose women did have equal protections under the law, which you do. That doesn't automatically ensure that women are treated as social equals. No, you're treated as social superiors. You're too angry and aggressive. Yeah, if you support this group, you're a fucking nut job. Yes, I'm angry. I'm angry that I get harassed on the street about half the time I leave my home. Men also get that, you stupid whore. I'm angry that my male counterparts are compensated for more for the same work I do. Here is a fucking newsflash, you stupid prissy cunt. If you can show, I mean, you must be able to show that if you already know that. But if you can fucking show that men are making more money than you at work, oh, here's the great part about that. If you can fucking show it, you can make a lawsuit because it's fucking illegal. 1963 Equal Pay Act prevents companies from fucking doing that. You have the right to sue them if they're doing this. You don't do this because they're not actually doing it. You just pretend they do so you can feel special about yourself. By the way, if you're watching, you can go ahead and leave a comment in the chat and I will try to answer it. But oh my God, there already is a law that prevents that from happening. And if you can fucking prove that, you could actually make a lot of money. You could actually sue for gender discrimination. And that is something that you can actually say that you feel that you've been hurt psychologically, and the courts will eat it up. Depending on the company, you could make millions from that if you could prove it. Or you could make enough to where you don't have to work for a while. And the fact that you haven't done that tells me that you're not being discriminated against. And you know that if you tried, it would be thrown out of court because you can't prove anything because it doesn't exist. Get out of here with that fucking bullshit. Just because you say it's true doesn't make it true. And if you want me to take you seriously that it happens, then form a fucking lawsuit. Because believe me, lawyers would jump on that chance. If you could show a lawyer proof that this is happening, they would work for the commission of what you could potentially make. I'm angry that politicians are constantly trying to appeal our constitutional right to safe abortions. Well, guess what on that part? It's not just men who are doing this. It's also women who are doing this. It's the religious right that's doing this. It's men and women together who are doing this. It isn't just men against women. Now, I agree with you that abortion clinics shouldn't be closing down and that there is a religious force out there trying to get them closed down by creating like unnecessary steps for them. I agree, that is a legitimate women's issue, but don't for 1 minute say that it's the patriarchy, because it's men and women actively joining together to get abortion clinics shut down. It is a part of the law. Abortion is legal in the United States. And because it's legal, that means we should have abortion clinics open, not closing them down. I'm angry that half of all transgender people will be sexually abused in their lifetime. Why only half? And this, why only half? Are you saying that the because they have a vagina, they get raped, and that those who have a penis don't? That's the discrimination right there. That's sexism that you're doing right there. Both genders, and I'm talking about physical genders, get sexually abused. It's not one over the other. And to suggest it, it shows your own bias. And whatever gender you choose to identify with beyond your physical gender, that's up to you. These topics are painful and difficult, and sometimes you just really don't want to deal with them anymore. It can be especially frustrating. So yes, feminists, like all people, will get angry sometimes. There's nothing wrong with being angry. And so long as our arguments are solid, which they're not, our feelings don't make us wrong. But your feelings don't make you right either. Logic and evidence makes you right. the things that you actually lack. When people tell me I'm too aggressive in my approach to feminism, I tell them that as a part of a movement, I don't have time to hold anyone's hands. Hundreds of women die a year to gender-based violence in Argentina. Bullshit. Just because a woman dies does not mean it's gender-based violence. Because believe me, a lot more men die in the world every year than women. Mothers in the United States don't have a legal right to paid time off from work when they give birth. That's actually true that the United States doesn't have that because it's a state's issue. It's individual states. That's how our government works. Individual states decide on their laws. So don't attack the United States for not having that law, because that's not how our country works. There's no official law like that. It rests on the states, and most states actually have laws that allow it. That's a complete ignorance of how the United States government works. 98% of rapists will never be held in prison. Oh, you fucking whore! That is fucking bullshit! You fucking know it! Most people who are accused of rape, whether they rape or not, will go to fucking jail. You're looking at some sort of crime statistics that tell you this instead of, you're looking at the RAIN Institute. Most men who are accused of rape go to jail for rape. And those who don't, is because the women are lying. And it's proven that they're lying. But of course, you're one of those feminists that think that if a woman cries rape, she must have been raped. And if the evidence doesn't match up, then it's just misogyny and the police don't want to prosecute. And it's a fucking rape culture. You think you're angry? I'm fucking angry. Again, if you're watching, please leave a comment. I'm a man, so I can't be a feminist. I never hear any man say that. Anyone can be a feminist. It's a common misconception that to be a feminist, one must be a cis woman. I love how you say cis woman. But this is far from the case. Feminism is a worldview and way of life that anyone can adopt. Personally, I define feminism as a belief that all genders ought to be treated as equal in every sense, and a desire to replace the harmful aspects of the patriarchy, which doesn't exist, with systems that empower, celebrate, and respect women's, trans individuals, gender fluids, and general non-conforming people. But you just said that all genders should be treated equal, and you happen to leave men out of that list. Being a man in no way precludes a person from holding these beliefs and ideals to be true. Yes, men have a different path to walk than women when it comes to feminism. Men can be feminists. Good Men Project. A man's role in feminism is 1, recognize and fully accept that they carry a gender privilege. Well, if men have to accept that, women have to accept that. 2, listen to a woman and others who are oppressed by patriarchal systems and values. No one has to listen to a man at all, only listen to a woman. Also sexist. Really drying out my voice here. 3, use their privileges to benefit those who do not share that privilege. So basically become a slave to women to do everything that women need, which would be giving them a privilege. So if they have a privilege, wouldn't they also need to give their privilege to the men that are giving them their privilege? No, it doesn't work that way. 4, call out misogyny when you see it. You're a man and your guy friend tells a sexist joke. Tell him it isn't okay to say or think those things about women. There's no proof that that guy thinks those things about women. Some of the most sexist jokes I hear are from women. I mean, that right there is called censorship, which feminists know how to do very well. Do you have the opportunity to use your male privilege to empower a trans individual? It depends. What do you consider a male privilege? Because men don't really have privileges. Go for it. Oh, and when have you used your female privilege, your feminist privilege, to go help anyone else but yourself? Oh, you wrote this article, didn't you? To tell men that they're pieces of shit. Just remember that while you have an instrumental part to play in this movement, the movement doesn't belong to you. No, it's just for women, about women. But a man can be here so long as it's about women. We don't care about anything he has to say. Feminism is a lost cause. Don't feel like reading that. I guess I have to. I am not an optimist. I don't think we will necessarily see gender equality in my lifetime. That's because you have gender superiority. But the same way feminism doesn't belong to men, it doesn't belong solely to my generation or to me. See, you really, really state that this doesn't belong to men, but it's for equal rights, but you don't care about men's rights in any way. The struggle is for the benefit of all women, not just the ones I might meet with while I'm alive. It's important that we push equality, even if it won't necessarily see our hard work come to fruition, even though you have more rights than men in our society. Well, what I tell others, even myself, because I get frustrated with slow progress too, is that the end goal of feminism isn't necessarily to turn the world into a feminist paradise. Oh, that's what you want, a feminist paradise. It's not that you want gender equality, it's that you want a feminist paradise. Your words, not mine. We have different goals at different times. Sometimes the goal is to pass the ERA, which give you protections under the law that you already have. Sometimes it's to get a safe housing for LGBTQ kids, and which has nothing to do with feminism, but okay. And sometimes it's to tell our little sisters to not let boys at school pick on her because she's just as good as they are. I don't see you telling little boys to not get bullied at school because they're good as they are. I know I've gotten bullied in school. Oh, but I'm told to just suck it up. See, progress doesn't seem so far-fetched now, does it? You just said that you're not going to see it in your lifetime. Sexism is a social disease. Ugh. Feminism is sexist against men. Yes, it is. I hear this a lot. I bet you do too. Yes, because it's true. It's one of the first things someone who doesn't understand oppression will claim in an attempt to tear down arguments for gender equality. The only real way to address this assertion is to have a discussion about how oppression works. This link goes to reverse oppression can't exist. So basically, the article is stupid, but basically it goes along the line that the oppressed cannot oppress the oppressor, which is technically true. However, it fails to understand that what the true definition of oppression is, and that men and women, well, men are not oppressing women, but women feel that it's the patriarchy that's oppressing them, and the patriarchy is controlled by men. Ex facto, it's against men. Basically, oppression flows in only one direction: the privileged oppressor to the oppressed. I love that you say the privileged oppressor. It's not just the oppressor, it's the privileged oppressor. Just getting those buzzwords in. It's a socially and culturally support misuse of power that keeps one at the top and the others beneath them in many senses, financially, physically, etc. Really, the patriarchy is discriminating against you physically? Can women be biased against men, say rude things to them, and treat them poorly? Yes, no doubt. Well, I'm glad we're in agreement. That doesn't seem to stop them. But because women are not in a greater position of social power, oh my fucking God. Even if, oh, hey, Nemesis and Sato Chris. even if you want to say that the patriarchy exists and it's holding women back, saying that you do not have social power, how the fuck did feminists, as you claim, get the right to vote? How did they get the Equality Pay Act? How did they get abortion if they have no social power whatsoever? Believe me, women have an amazing amount of social power. Again, watch those videos where those men and women are getting abused on the street, and how many men will come to the protection of a woman getting abused, and how many men will come to the defense of a man getting abused. A lot versus none at all. So don't begin to tell me that women have no social power. You have a lot of social power, and you use it to hold it over other people. You use it as an oppressive force against men. These are indications of discrimination, not oppression or sexism. I hate to tell you, but sexism is a form of discrimination. Sexism is when a certain sex or gender, in the case of contemporary society, this gender is woman and trans people, is systematically discriminated against to the point that they are treated as subordinates or otherwise less than dominant group. As long as men are the dominant group, they can't be victims of sexism. Okay, you're taking the Anita Sarkeesian approach of changing the definitions of words. I need a soda. My throat is really scratching up. This cunt is really pissing me off. Oh, that's a little bit better. Okay, so sexism means what it does, and now what she's trying to do is change it to say that it's only for those who are oppressed. However, women have never been able to convince me that they're oppressed, because I see it firsthand that if anyone's oppressed, it's men. Which I can prove that men are oppressed in our society. Okay, I know that sounds kind of heady, but it's not possible for men to be the victims of sexism. We are all hurt by misogyny and patriarchy. There are unfair expectations of men in our society as a result of patriarchy. But men are not culturally, socially, or legally oppressed by women. Yes, they are. And saying that makes you a sexist. It makes you a misandrist. I am a woman and I don't need feminism. Well, we all need feminism. A woman who says this, before I begin, Nemesis Diablo, did you see the video of the guy on the subway and a woman was talking down to him, and then she hit him and he hit her back, and a white knight jumped him and he beat the hell out of the white knight? No, I actually haven't seen that video. I've seen similar things where like there were test projects done for that, which I mention a lot, but I haven't seen that specific one. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. You know, a woman hits you, but the moment you hit her back, that's when something wrong has happened. By the way, if you are now joining me, this is my third video I've done today, so be sure to go back to my channel and view the other videos I've done today. Okay, so a woman who says this might not be reminded of all of her privileges before she makes the kind of judgment. She might be in a position of greater privilege as a woman, white, upper class, educated, straight, cis. So if you have any one of those, you're privileged. So in order to not be privileged, you have to be black, poor, uneducated, gay, and non-cisgender. I don't think there are very many people like that in this world, and if they are, they probably don't know that they're being discriminated against since they're educated and poor. Just a thought. And have not necessarily experienced some of the more brutal effects that a patriarchy society dishes out. You yourself have stated that you're a woman who is white and has gone to college. How do you know what anyone gets if your argument is that these women don't know what the patriarchy dishes out? How are you more of an expert on this if women who are against feminism qualify with you on privileges as you claim, and I use that in quotes? I mean, they're as qualified as you to make a judgment, and you're saying that they don't understand patriarchy. How can you understand patriarchy with all of your privilege? Oh, he beat the hell out of the White Knight. I didn't see that part, even though I probably read it. But, oh, wow, that's even funnier. So, yeah, in the comment, he had said that the White Knight jumped him, who hit the girl, and the guy beat up the White Knight. So, but she has definitely experienced sexism, whether she realizes or not. Oh, so now you're talking for her. Because when a man does this, this is mansplaining. But when a woman does it for another woman, it's okay. Ask her whether she knows how much men at her workplace make and if it's the same pay as hers. Okay, and what if she says that men and women make the same amount of money for the same work? And that if anyone makes more money than her, it's because their job is different or they do more hours than her. Do men dismiss her opinion and interrupt her on a regular basis? Most men I know don't interrupt women. It's women who interrupt men on a continuous basis. I mean, check out that video with Milo Yiannopoulos and that female talking about the gender gap, not gender pay gap. Milo, through that entire thing, was very respectful, but the woman near the end wanted to interrupt, and the news reporter woman is like, no, go ahead and interrupt Milo. Now, he did interrupt her after that point, but before that, he never once interrupted her. But when the woman tried to interrupt Milo, who had shown her absolute respect and never interrupted her, the female reporter is like, no, go ahead and interrupt Milo. Does she get catcalled walking down the street? Most women have admitted this and said that they don't mind this. This is not sexism. Has she ever been coerced into or forced to have sex? Okay, but rape, as what you're indicating, is not a gendered issue. Even if the answer to all these questions is no, again, so you have a response even if she says no. Feminism isn't about the individual. It's not about you on your own. It's about all of us. Generally, when women are against feminism, it's because they don't like how feminism treats society. Women need feminism not only because your life has been made more difficult due to your gender, but it's also because there isn't a person on the planet who would be better off without feminism. The rest of the world would be better off without feminism. Feminism has destroyed this planet, has made it so that men cannot be recognized as victims of rape, have made it so that they're discriminated against family courts and divorce court. And women have had over 100 years to correct the issue that women had the right to vote without signing up for selective service. When are you going to get on that? Because men have to. How many men have died because of the draft to fight some pointless war? And women can sit back and not have to worry about it because they got the privilege to vote without having to sign up for selective service, without having to be part of the draft. That is a privilege. You want equality for men and women? Do something about that. Either require women to sign up for selective service or do away with selective service. But don't tell me for 1 minute that women have no privilege, no rights, and that their feelings trump everything. I'm not really going to read the rest of this because it's just pointless garble. There's no comments on this page at all, so let's see if there's anything from the chat. Feminism is only good for feminists. Yes, it is. Sato Chris. Well, that was Polar Bear. Sato Chris. I'm 22 minutes late, so I'm listening to things from then. So I don't know what's going on now. I could just go where it is live, but then I'll miss everything. Well, I'll type this in the chat so to make sure you know I am ending the video now. I'm going to be doing one more video, which is going to finish up the men's rights survey that I've been reporting on for a couple of months now. It's going to be good, or at least I think it'll be good. So I invite everyone who's in the chat right now to join me for the next video. Just look at my Twitter account. It does post there automatically, ggmad_cat. And I'll see you at the next video. And this is Mad Cat signing off.